So this is a brief tutorial for 5th and 6th grade folks for adding grades for the first quarter. You're going to log into LREI Connect and you usually see this default grading channel over here. You can select your course from here. I have a lot of courses, so I'm just going to actually go to my actual class page, and in the grading channel you'll notice that for your course you may see something similar, some things designated Q1 and one that's year long. For this year you're just going to use the year long, whatever your subject, and then 5-6, and you're going to use this same one over the course of the whole year. You may see at different times during the year these Q1s change to Q2, Q3, and Q4. Just disregard them and make sure that anytime you're entering grades you're using the year long one here. So we're going to click on that. That will take me to the grade entry page where it should look familiar. On the left-hand side, you'll have your class roster, and on the right-hand side, the various fields. You'll notice that all of these fields now are comment fields, so they don't have the grid fields that we used to have in the past. And we have the section for year-long skills at the top, the section that we've designated for skills that exceed expectations, and then a section for each of the quarters working from the fourth quarter all the way back down to the first quarter. So we're going to be concerned with these comment fields right there and up at the top here for these year-long skills. The first thing that you're going to want to do is a bulk edit, because we're going to need to add some content to each of these fields, which then you'll update for each individual student. So we're going to click on bulk edit. You want to make sure that all of the students in your class are selected, so you can do the check all and click next. And then we're just going to work down in adding the things that we'll need to do. So for some of these you'll need to do this once, and then for other fields you may need to do some bulk edits each quarter. So first thing we're going to do is just add the subject area skills and content, and I will send an email that you can then cut and paste items from. Obviously you'll notice here I have just the grade designation and some hyphens. You'll need to actually add the content as you go through. So I'm going to cut those. And one of the things I think that's really helpful, anytime you paste something, click this clipboard, because what that will do is that will strip out any formatting if it was in a Word document, so that you can then sort of work with it here. So I'm going to click that, make sure that it's selected, and now I can paste, and those items are here. And then presumably you'll have listed the particular year-long skills for your discipline, which you'll need to add in these spaces. Once you're done adding those things, obviously if you don't have as many as I have here, you can delete some, or if you need to add some, you can copy and paste in however many you need. So once you've added all of your year-long skills, the other thing is right here, I left an S on all of these as sort of the default grade of still emerging, so that you can keep that there, and then when you're adjusting individual students, if you need to adjust it to something else, you can. Otherwise, it's there as the default. So I'll hit this box right here, and the red triangle here appears letting me know that I have content that's there. I'm now going to go back into classwork, and I'll copy, and this time I'm going to copy all of the things here because those are shared across grade. And I come back, click on the text box, paste it in, close that. Now I'm going to do homework. So I'm taking these two. Don't need any of the headers because those will automatically appear. Click on text, paste it in, close. This piece of bulk editing, you're really only going to need to do this once because these items obviously won't change, and any changes that you make to them you're going to do on each individual student. Copy that last one. And actually there I didn't hit the text field, so I'm going to hit that again. I'm going to paste and close it. So there I've done what I needed to do on this section for all of the students. But then one other thing that I'm going to want to do, two fields. So we look in the quarter, there's a space for a curriculum statement, skills and content that meet grade level expectations, skills and contents that are still emerging. And I did add a teacher comment in the first quarter because there may be a particular instance where you do want to leave a comment, but as we know, those are not required. So I'm going to do the curriculum statement, and wherever you've written that, you'll go and grab it. Important if you are using a Word document, because sometimes it'll keep some of the formatting. So when you do that, again, click on here. One of the things that may happen, and if you had things that were sort of bold, it may strip some of those out. So if you need to add back any formatting, you can do that here. You can do a quick final spell check. So we'll close that. And then I'm going to do a bulk edit for still emerging. So I'm going to go back here, find my quarter specific ones, and I'm going to grab them here. Obviously, you'll have them in wherever you've, in a Word document or wherever. And I'm going to paste all of those in for all the students under Still Emerging, just as my default. So I'm going to close that. And those are all the things that you need to sort of bulk edit here. So you should have the curriculum statement, all of your quarter skills in the Still Emerging box, and up on the year-long skills section, each of these four. And then I'm going to save and exit. And that should take me back to my main page. Sort of notice now that in those areas where we added something, these fields have now changed to show that there is text there. And so then I'm going to begin the process for each individual student, and it always defaults to the student at the top. So I can see here's a Goofy Dog. So this is actually that student's report. So the one place here where I may need to make some changes is I may actually feel that some of those quarter skills were meeting expectations. So I'm going to click on it for that student. And let's say I'm going to say, well, you know, this one here was really meeting expectations. So I'm going to cut it out. And then I'm going to close it. And now I'm going to click on meeting expectations here. And let's also just assume that the convention we're going to use is if in fact this is a skill at this point or at some point later that that exceeds expectations, I'm just going to put an asterisk next to it. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to leave it here in this box. And then I'm just going to go back up here into this field and I'm going to paste it in, get rid of the asterisk, and type first quarter, and then close. And whenever I'm copying and pasting things that are already from one of these fields, I don't necessarily need to use the text, change it to sort of just text. So now I've got the student done here, and then I'm going to, for this student, go back through each of these fields and decide, now let's just, if I get rid of those, I'm going to decide this one's right, this should really be a meeting expectation. I'm going to close that, and I'm going to do the same thing for these other items based on my assessment of the student's performance. And save that. And each time I fill them in or make a change, I can see the red triangle so I know if I've done something for that student. I'm going to make whatever changes. And conduct, go over here and say meeting. And just as sort of an advanced preview, let's imagine for a second, though, that this was the second quarter. I'm just going to come back in for each of these and then here move the cursor past the straight line and add a new assessment there. So that would be my second quarter assessment for that student. We don't need to worry about that now. Each of these are just going to have one item. And I can look through and see I've adjusted all of these. Those are fine. I've made these adjustments here. And then I'm going to make sure that I save for that student. And then I could click on the next student and do exactly the same adjustments that are personal for them. So one of the things, though, that we do need to be really careful about now that all of these items that used to be in the grid are comment fields is if you accidentally delete something here, and let's say it's the second or third quarter, you're potentially deleting those assessments from earlier. So really important to be careful. One of the things that I will ask Mary to do is when we're actually done a set of reports is to, she'll make some PDF files that fixes that data so that if something were to happen, you could access those to see what you had and you'd have to sort of, rebuild the things that were deleted. So just need to be really, real careful there because that data is going to build over the course of the year. So that's pretty much it. We don't have a faculty meeting this week, or a department meeting, so I wanted to get this information to you. If you have questions, I'm glad to find a moment, or you can also touch base with Frank as well. So um, that's what we're doing for grades for 5th and 6th grade. And we can talk a little bit later in the, as we get to the second, third, and fourth quarter, if there are any sort of slight variations on what we need to do. So thanks a lot.